sort of hit 25, I was working 70 hours a week. I was working many weekends. I had no time for fitness. I had no time for any sort of hobbies. I had near on no time for my girlfriend, my family, and it just felt like life was about working.
So something had to change.
Yeah, I mean,
where did the inspiration for that change come from, other than the 70-hour weeks?
It came from general frustration. I mean, I have nothing from it. So I just got to this position where I was like, 25 years old, working 70 hours a week, feeling very, very frustrated with my life. Something, like you said, had to change. I had to change something.
And you didn't have time to keep fit. You didn't have time for the family. You didn't have time for your girlfriend. So those were frustrations.
Yeah, actually, while you're on that, I remember my energy. I was 25 years old and I used to have to pull myself out of bed. I mean, I literally had to pull myself out. The alarm would go off and I was absolutely knackered. I would get up feeling like rubbish. I would sit in traffic in the mornings trying not to fall asleep. I mean, it was getting to a position for a 25-year-old that wasn't particularly pleasant.
So this frustration sparked a change. Where did the change come from?
I suppose what really happened, I started reading books. One of the first books I definitely would recommend that anyone goes out and gets is a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki.
Yeah, great book.
And he was the first person that ever mentioned to me the difference between being a business owner or being someone that has assets, who has money work for them in comparison to somebody who's trading their time for money. And what I learned from that book was that whilst I was in a job or whilst I was running a small business where I was a vital part of the business, I would continue to have very little leverage in my life. There's only so much your time is worth. It doesn't matter how brilliant you are at your job, whether you're a doctor, a GP, a lawyer, there's only so much of your time that you can give. And he inspired me to become a business owner where I could have either staff or technology or tools or products working for me. Assets, I mean, one of the things he talks a lot about is owning properties with rental income coming in. So, that money's coming in whether you're working or not. And, the problem that I had at that time is I had no money to invest. So becoming rich through purchasing assets wouldn't have been an option.
So his big message is about income follows assets and don't sell time for money. So that book inspired you. What happened after you finished reading that book?
I started to look at businesses and what I could possibly do, but I had no money, so it was very challenging. But what actually eventually happened is I bought a franchise magazine. I was reading through the magazine and this advert stood out, and it was this franchise opportunity that promised that I was going to make loads of money. Often, like you'll see, and how easy it was going to be, and how it was a system, and that if I followed that, I'd make a ton of money. And I managed to scrape together the money through borrowing money off my parents and through credit cards. And it was about $20,000, about £14,000, £15,000 I had to spend at the time.
It's a lot of money.
It was. It was a lot of money to someone that had no money.
And this is 2007?
Yes, this is 2007.
And what happened with that franchise?
It was a bit of a disaster. I effortlessly managed to drill that business into the ground. It was something that came quite natural to me as a new business owner.